guys, how you doing today? This is David Lucas back here again. Welcome back to my channel. Now today's video, I'm going to be talking about a film franchise that I've been kind of thinking about a lot lately, and I kind of just want to get some things off my chest and talk about it. The film franchise is part of the horror franchise, and probably my favorite horror franchise out of all of them, and that has to be Halloween. Yeah, the Halloween franchise I'm a big fan of Halloween franchise. It's probably no surprise I got a Michael Myers action figure over there. I feel like there's a kind of different groups of Halloween fans. And by groups, I don't mean that one's more of a fan than the other or anything like that. No, they're all equal. They're all the same kind of level of fans. There's just a different factions of fan groups with the Halloween franchise. Kind of like Star Wars. I seem to run under the line of the Halloween original, the around Halloween Pierce kind of fandom. Now, when I mean Pierce fandom, I mean that, like, I'm kind of one of the fans that really only likes the original. I kind of, not really that big of a fan of the sequels going on. I do like the new one. I'm going to talk about that soon, but I'm more of just the original. I like the original intent of Michael Myers. I love how Michael Myers was originally portrayed and written. And when you look at documentaries of John Carpenter explaining Michael Myers and the mystique and mystery behind him and all that, who he is and what he is, that's kind of what I like about it. That's the mystery, that's kind of what I like about it. That's what my kind of take on Halloween is. I like the original Halloween. I like how he was basically just the boogeyman. He was the man in the shadows. You don't see his face. You cut him or stab him one time, you shoot him, and he stands right back up somehow. You don't know how. Because the original intent of Michael Myers was that Michael Myers is human. He is still human. But there's that slight bit of supernatural to him. There's that slight bit of something that's not human with him. And we're not supposed to know what it is. It's just supposed to be there. We're not supposed to know his backstory or how or why he kills or him killing because he wants to kill a family member. That used to have nothing to do with the original. If you look back in the original, him and Laurie weren't brother and sister. They weren't brother and sister at all. They were just randomly met each other. He randomly seen her. I always looked at it as that she probably was like the first female or first person that he seen while being out of jail. And that person, she probably, Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode, has probably made a click in his head, made him remember his sister. And I remember when he killed his sister. And it made him go, huh, I kind of want to kill her. And I always looked at it as some kind of like, he's like some fascination with her. Like, maybe he thinks she's attractive. Maybe she's the kind of type of girl who he's attracted to kill to. So something about her is what attracted him to her. It has nothing to do with the brother and sister thing. And I like that. I don't like the brother and sister thing at all. And I like it to be more just random. Like, he just kills at random because that's just what he does. As we get into the second Halloween movie, what John Carpenter even stated that he did not want to do in the first place, he said that he just wanted to make it just a one-off. He just wanted to make it just a one-off, and that ending was just the ending. It was like some kind of Hitchcockian Twilight Zone type of thing that he wanted to do, to where he fell off the roof and then he just disappears and you don't see him at all. That's all John Carpenter wanted. He wanted to end it right there, and boom, that's it. He didn't want to do any more with it. That's all he wanted to do with the story. But of course, it did so good at the box office, the studio kind of forced him, basically on their contracts, to write the other one. He didn't want to direct. He was going to direct the second one, but he decided not to direct. He just ended up writing it. And I think he even said that he ended up writing it over like a 6-pack of beer or something like that. He stood up, like he was up all night and just wrote the whole script within one night over a 6-pack of beer. And yeah, that's how we got the Halloween 2 script. And Halloween 2 as a movie, I don't really hate. Like, I don't think it's bad at all or anything. It just, to me, it kind of feels like, alright, it was a little forced. I didn't like the brother and sister connection, like I already said before. I didn't like that. I didn't like how, like, the Michael Myers, like, I know it was a different person playing him. It wasn't Nick Castle. Nick Castle was the first Michael Myers. But I think Dick Warlock is playing this Michael Myers. And you could just tell it's supposed to take place in all the same night. Just tell that it looks different. It doesn't really look like the same Michael. Even the mask is a little messed up, and from what I know is that the mask was underneath one of the persons one of the the producers of the film was underneath their bed for like a whole year, and it says it was underneath the bed. The mask kind of like shaded away a little bit, so like the mask does look a little distorted. So, I understand that. And Jamie Lee Curtis, too, kind of feels like she's kind of just phoning it in at that movie, too. It didn't really seem like she didn't really want to come back. She was more like contract kind of thing. So, it's an alright sequel. I would say for what we got, it was good. For the 80s, I think it was good. It was an alright sequel. And it was supposed to end it. That was supposed to end it when he was burning at the very end. And he was burning, walking out. And you see him all burn and falls down. That was supposed to be the end of Michael Myers. That's all. That's it. Then we get to Halloween 3, which really has nothing to do with Michael Myers, and a lot of people did not like it at all, really. People did not like it. It was a completely different story, because what they wanted to do was go off and do kind of like a spin-off and do some stuff like anthology kind of movies. That's what they wanted to do at first. And back in the day in the 80s, I guess people weren't really too thrilled about that, and they wanted to see more of Michael Myers, and Michael Myers had nothing to do with this movie. So that movie kind of was panned by everyone. No one liked it at all. So, yeah, they kind of went away from that. But now, since I look back at that movie, in today's age, I feel like they could have actually gotten away with it, and I think a lot of people would have liked it in today's age that they went with that. I think people would have understood it and would have liked it. The original intent for this whole Halloween series was that it was going to be a set of anthologies. Like, every movie is going to be a different monster, a different killer, a different story set in Halloween. And I think that was pretty interesting. And if they would have done that in today's age, I think people might have actually maybe liked it. Maybe. I mean, I actually would find some interest into it. And now we get into Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. And that's what I actually do like. I kind of like this one a lot. I think, it has its problems, of course. But I think that this is a really good comeback of the Halloween franchise. John Carpenter, I don't think, really has anything to do with this one either. There's completely new writers, new directors, and everything. And something that always stands out to me in this one is that I always like the opening. I thought the opening is probably one of the best, or if not the best, Halloween opening that we ever gotten. I love how it's very atmospheric, and we get shots of the city. And we have some kind of like fog, and it looks like Halloween, and it feels like that. It's something I really like in the beginning. Something too that I really liked about this movie is that the whole Haddonfield is probably my favorite look of Haddonfield, probably overall. I think the look of Haddonfield in this movie feels like how Haddonfield should feel like. It feels like, like a city in Chicago or Illinois. It actually does feel like a city in Illinois, which Haddonfield takes place in is Illinois. I live here over in Michigan, so I definitely see that kind of fall atmosphere every year, and they perfectly captured it in this movie, and it's probably the best out of all the Halloween movies. I actually kind of like the overall story with that. Even though I don't like the whole brother-sister connectionship, you kind of, at this point, kind of just have to deal with it because that's the story they're telling, so you can't really complain at that point because that is the story they're telling. So you kind of have to judge it on the story they're telling. And I think this story works for that story. How Jamie Lloyd is kind of her daughter, Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter from the first one. And Jamie Lee Curtis died, Laurie Strode, she died in a car accident or something like that. And now, since Michael Myers is coming back, he woke up out of a coma, he's after his niece now. And he comes back to Haddonfield and chases after her. I really like that. I really like the supporting cast we got in here. We actually have some very good supporting cast. I really think Rachel is a really standout character, and probably, next to Laurie Strode, one of the best stars of the Halloween franchise. I think she's a great actress, the person who played her, and I think she's really written really well in this movie, where you really do connect with her. You connect with her like how you connected with Laurie Strode in the first one, and I like that a lot. I really like what they did with her. The ending to it too, the ending to this movie was really good. I love that cliffhanger that we got of Jamie standing on top of the stair steps with Loomis screaming, "No! No! No!" and about to shoot her, basically. And then the sheriff stops her and looks at her, and you just see Jamie standing there with her knife up, all bloody, because she just stabbed her stepmom. And she's not speaking at all, and basically he's under the cliffhanger. Like, did Michael possess her? Did he not possess her? Like, what's going on here? I mean, but this movie does have some really bad things to it, though. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I do not like the look of Michael Myers. I don't like how he looks kind of bulky and fat. He looks like he's on stilts, kind of. His shoulders are all up here. I hate the mask in this. Like, honestly, if the mask... my biggest problem with this movie is the mask. If the mask didn't look that bad, that horrible, and we would have had the original mask from the original Halloween movie, I think this movie could have stand up as the second best Halloween movie. Like, honestly, it's the mask and the look of Michael Myers that kind of derails this movie. I love how they portrayed Michael in this one. I like how his kills were in this one. I really liked it. And it's really sad that the look of Michael Myers really derails this movie, and it is not the second best Halloween movie. And now we get to Halloween 5, and let's just be honest and quick here with Halloween 5. Halloween 5 kind of was a start of the ruin of the franchise. It was. It was the start of the decline of the Halloween franchise. You can tell that this movie, now nothing against the filmmakers, nothing against them. I'm sure they're great filmmakers with their own kind of movies. But you can just tell that these filmmakers probably never watched a Halloween movie before in their lives. Especially the movie that came out right before this one. Retconned so many stuff that would happen in 4, even though it was supposed to take place right after 4. Jamie, for some reason, her role, even though her role should have been something so much better, like it was a cliffhanger in the 4th one of Jamie now, is going to take up that mantle, and she's going to be the new Michael. Michael Myers, from what we know, is dead. He's done. Now Jamie is taking on that mantle. Now she's the new killer that we follow. And that would have been a cool, badass storyline, especially because this time around, we got to know the killer. We got to like her. We got to be attached to her. And now she's the killer that they're going after. But no, they completely retcon all that, act like none of that never happened, and reduce her role to being mute the whole god freaking movie. What they did. They just reduced her whole role to being a mute. And that's it. And she has some kind of like psychedelic kind of thing with Michael Myers. Like she can read his mind, and it's like he can read her mind and see what she sees, and he sees what she sees. It's really weird and random. The house in Halloween 5 was just god awful. It looks nothing. The Myers house looks nothing. Not at all close to how the Myers house looked in the original. Now, I'm not saying go back and make it exactly spot for spot the original, how it looked, but this house looked like it was some gothic castle. And the old Halloween house, the Michael Myers house, was just a regular 2-story house. Old-fashioned, middle-class 2-story house. It wasn't anything special. And they make it in this one like some gothic castle. The reason he has a different mask in this one, too, which doesn't make sense at all, because he has the same exact mask that he had in the original, but yet it's different. I don't know. Really, you can just tell the filmmakers did not even watch the one before this one. Oh, another thing too, you remember how I was saying in Halloween 4, how Rachel was like a great lead, a great new lead into the Halloween franchise, and a great final girl, because she survived. She kicked Michael's ass too in the movie, I forgot to mention it before. She kicked his ass. She was fearless, she fell off a roof and still survived and still kicked his ass. And in this one, she dies within 10-20 minutes of the movie, naked, and screaming, not fighting back, not anything, just screams and dies really quick, and then she's completely gone for the rest of the movie. And then we get introduced to our new lead, and it's some random, like her friend or something, someone we don't even know. And oh my god, no offense to the actress, because I'm sure she's a great person and a great actress and all, But oh my god, I could not handle this person. She was horrible. Like, why is she our lead? There's nothing likable about her. She's annoying. She's obnoxious. She's stupid. Why didn't she die in the first 20 minutes of the movie? Why is Rachel gone? Like, what? It's so stupid. Oh yeah, and too, something else I have to complain about, because there's really nothing good about this movie. What the fuck was up with the cops in this movie? Like, what was up with the cops? The cops were horrible. They make the cops in this movie basically cartoons. And on top of that, the music in this movie was horrible. When you see the cops, when they're investigating a scene, a murder scene, we have doopy doopy doop doo cartoon music playing. Why? How does that fit the movie at all? I really don't like this movie at all. And now on to Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. One of the good things I will say about this movie is that I think the look of Michael Myers actually looks pretty cool. I like the mask. The mask actually looks pretty frightening and scary. I actually think they got the Myers house somewhat right. It looks a lot better this time around than it did in the Halloween 5. It looks a lot better this time around. The kills are actually pretty cool in this one. I like the kills. They're not too bloody, not too graphic. I like them. They're pretty cool. I actually like Paul Rudd as Tommy Doyle. I think Paul Rudd plays a great Tommy Doyle, honestly. I really buy him as Tommy Doyle. I like that a lot. And that pretty much is all that I really like about this movie. I hate the cult stuff. I hate how they try to explain the backstory of Michael Myers, which should never, ever happen. And they do that, and it's so stupid and doesn't make sense at all. It's really dumb, and I love Sam Loomis, I love Donald Pleasence, but they really did bash this character in this movie, and I feel so horrible that this was Donald Pleasence's last movie, because, God, this movie was so bad. The fact that Michael basically raped and impregnated his niece, Jamie, and got her pregnant, and is now after his nephew/son, it's really weird and strange. It's very weird and strange, but I mean, it does have some good stuff going for it, what makes it better than Halloween 5. Not really by a long shot. Now we're moving on to a different chronological order, which is Halloween H2O. Now, Halloween H2O takes place after the second Halloween movie, the second Halloween movie in the 1980s. And it's taking place right there. Jamie Lee Curtis comes back to this one, and everyone was all hyped about it, and like Jamie Lee Curtis coming back and all that. And the movie is alright. I mean, it's not great. It's not god-awful like Halloween 5 or 6, but it's okay. Like, it's watchable. I'll watch it. If it's on TV, I'll watch it, and I'll enjoy it, and I'll get a little kick out of it. But honestly, it's not really anything special. You can tell Jamie Lee Curtis just phones it in this whole time. I don't really like the story that they have for her, I like the post-traumatic stress part. I like that, but I think the execution of it was very poor. People don't like the brother and sister relationship. I think that's really bad. I cannot stand at all that scene when his mask is CGI'd. Like, it's so horrible. I don't know how that scene did not get edited out or fixed. Like, who let that scene pass by with that dumb CGI mask? I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. The atmosphere I don't really like it doesn't feel like a Halloween movie, really. It honestly does not feel like a Halloween movie at all. It feels like just an average horror movie with Michael Myers in it. It almost feels like a Scream movie, to be honest. It takes place in California, too, so it's not even in Haddonfield at all. And it's more like, an alright movie. It's alright. I like the ending. I like how it ends with him getting his head cut off and everything. I thought, alright, finally we ended it. Good. Move on. Let's go on with our day. By the way, I'm just doing the originals. I'm not doing the Rob Zombie's remakes. So, those are a video for another time. But now we get to Resurrection, which takes place after Halloween H2O. Let me just be honest. Halloween Resurrection is the worst Halloween movie there is. And yeah, it's probably even worse than Halloween 5. Basically, everything about this movie does not work at all. Like, nothing works. The look of the Myers house, too, it's like they don't even pay attention to what happened. It's just horrible. It just looks horrible. Whole plot and point that it's kind of supposed to be like a reality TV show. They were trying to cash in on the found footage type of stuff, which really did not work at all for this movie, because it really was like a thing that lasted for like 2 seconds and then no one cares about found footage anymore after that. The leads of this movie were very forgettable. I honestly don't remember their names or who they were. They were very forgettable, cheesy, generic people in horror movies that die, and that's who the people were. It's your every single horror movie people that die. That's all the characters were. I do gotta say, I think the mask of Michael looks alright. I mean, it's not a good mask at all by any chance, but it's better than H2O's, I thought. It's a lot better than H2O's, and maybe a little better than Halloween 5's. I don't know. I kind of don't like both of them the same. And let me just point out, too, which is so horrible and which makes this movie so damn horrible, is the fact of how the lazy writing way how they bring Michael Myers back after dying and getting his head cut off in H2O. So I guess apparently in H2O, after, I don't know how Michael Myers was able to do this, choked a paramedic. He woke up from, being stabbed and thrown up the thing. Woke up from the paramedic. Choked him. Broke his voice box or whatever. Somehow had time to switch out the suits and go into the paramedic suit. Now, just think about that. Michael Myers was naked for a few seconds. Yeah, like Michael Myers was... Just imagine that Michael Myers sitting there, unzipping his clothes, switching his clothes to the paramedic, putting his clothes on the paramedics, and walking away. And, yeah, let's kind of think back here. How the fuck does Michael Myers walk away? Because we see him walking away from the paramedics, and he's just standing in the middle of everyone, people walking past him, everything, with his knife handed out like this. Obviously, his face is messed up if they're staying true to the second Halloween movie, which is canon in this. Then how the fuck is he able just to walk off, holding a knife with the messed up face and everything? Just walks off. Just walks off. And why the fuck doesn't that paramedic take off his stupid mask and show that he's not Michael? Instead, he sits there and pretends he's Michael, and it's just to get his head cut off, and then he dies, and Michael, oh, it's so stupid. Now let's get to the best thing about this movie. Mostly worst thing about this movie, because there's no good things about this movie. Busta Rhymes. Yes, in this movie we have Busta Rhymes, and he dresses up like Michael Myers in this movie, walks up to Michael Myers, and basically tells him off while he's wearing his fucking Halloween costume, and Michael Myers sits there, tilts his head, and walks away. He just walks away as this dude is sitting here talking a bunch of shit to him. Michael just walks away and doesn't kill him, but yet he kills everyone else in the fucking room. But not some dude who's talking shit to him, and Michael's just like, what? Ugh. That, I don't know how Michael Myers gets beat in this movie. Busta Rhymes pops into the room while the final battle is going on, looks at Michael, and goes, "Trick or treat, motherfucker!" Then karate kicks him. And then after that, Michael gets electrocuted in the balls. And that's how he dies at the end of the movie. That's how he dies. He gets electrocuted by his balls. Oh, wait, no, wait. You have to stay behind, because if you stay for the last couple seconds of the movie, when Michael's in the, getting his dead body checked out and all that, his eyes open, setting it up for a sequel. Yeah, we never get a sequel to that. This is my review on the original Halloween franchise. Now in another video, I'm going to do a video on the remakes and on the new chronological order. That's the Halloween 2018 and Halloween, the new one coming, Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. So I'm going to do another videos on those ones, kind of saying my opinions on those and how I like them. But this is just a video on just the original Halloween series, and that's kind of my opinion on the movies, my short little review of each Halloween movie. This video might be pretty long though, but thank you guys for watching. If you stuck by this whole video, make sure you like and subscribe to this video if you want to see more videos. I always appreciate the support. And remember to comment down below and let me know your opinion on the Halloween movies. Where do you rank the Halloween movies at? Where's your opinion on all of them? Are you Halloween Pierce like me, or do you like the Thorn series with Halloween 4, 5, and 6? Or do you like the Halloween H2O series, Halloween H2O and Resurrection? Which one do you guys like the best? What's your favorites? Let me know down in the comments below. I always like to know. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.